Councillor Sadiq.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Let's get to the truth of the matter now. I want to respond directly to the amendment before us, and more importantly to what is actually happening on the ground in the city centre. Not in meetings with highway officers, with trade associations that have come together for 2 years, but actual taxi drivers that are working the taxis. We've heard a lot about awards, consultations and engagement. I'm not disputing that those things did not take place or that the city centre looks better, but none of that answers the problems residents, drivers and businesses are dealing with today. But because the starting point has to be this, the city centre access policy is live. It is being enforced now. Drivers are being monitored now. Penalties are being issued now. CCTV, ANPR and civil enforcement officers are already in operation, so this is not about shaping future policy. This is about a scheme that is already affecting livelihoods and access. And once enforcement is live, Lord Mayor, general assurances are no longer enough. Hackney carriage drivers are raising consistent concerns. Ranks are in the wrong place, capacity is insufficient, and some are fundamentally flawed in design, including ranks facing the wrong direction, such as on Sunbridge Road. Who designed and implemented a rank facing oncoming traffic that takes you half an hour to get out? I'll tell you one thing, it wasn't in this public house, it might have been in another public house. These are not minor details. They go to whether the system works at all. If consultation had meaningfully informed the final layout, these issues would not exist in a scheme that is already being enforced. Now let me turn to private hire, because this is where the gap between theory and reality is stark. The executive member says that private hire vehicles can legally pick up and drop off pre-booked passengers, including at the roadside and at Hackney carriage ranks. That may be correct in principle, but in practice, private hire drivers do not know this, because I've asked them. So I don't know which one the executive member is talking to. Hackney carriage drivers do not know this, and enforcement officers do not appear to know this. A question from a driver just a few hours ago asks, as a private hire driver, am I allowed to pick or drop off a customer on Kergate outside Barclays Bank on the Hackney rank?
Yes.
Thank you very much. For record, we'll hold you to that.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So drivers are afraid to stop. Jobs are cancelled, passengers are left waiting, and people who ride on taxis, particularly elderly and disabled residents, are choosing not to come into the city centre at all. A right that exists only in policy documents but is not communicated or consistently enforced does not exist in reality. Lord Mayor, this is not a driver failure, this is a council failure. We are also hearing consistent concerns from small independent businesses. They tell us older and less mobile customers are coming in less often or not at all, because access is confusing and stressful. I have seen no evidence presented to this council showing increased footfall for those independents, but I have repeatedly heard concerns about access reducing it. And this brings me to the central issue. Consultation after enforcement does not fix a failing scheme. Once cameras are live and layouts are built, damage is already being done. Promises of future amendments without dates, without delivery plans and without clear communication are not solutions, they're a deflection. No matter how many TikTok videos somebody makes. So Chair, I am asking for clear answers on the record, not on social media, but right here, right now. Will the executive member commit with timescales to relocating Hackney carriage ranks locations that actually work and extending them where capacity is clearly insufficient? I thought not. Will he commit formally to informing all private hire drivers, including Hackney carriage drivers, and all enforcement officers in writing that private hire vehicles may pick up and drop off pre-booked passengers in the city centre, including at Hackney carriage bays? And on Vicar Lane, I didn't think so. And will he commit to ensuring that elderly, disabled and vulnerable residents can access the city centre without unreasonable difficulty, not in policy language, but in lived reality? Oh no, I can't hear nothing. Something must be going wrong. These are not unreasonable requests. They are the minimum required to make this policy work as it was approved. Lord Mayor, enforcement is happening now, the impact is happening now, and the consequences are being felt now. So this is not a question about vision or consultation history. It is a simple test of leadership. You need to speak to your constituents, executive member. Thank you.
Councillor Ross Short.